A young boy named Jarod, born with a mind that no one could fully explain, has the ability to solve problems that adults could barely understand. Even as a little boy, Jarod can study any job, enter any world, and become almost anyone without real experience. Unfortunately, this extraordinary gift made Jarod valuable to a secret organization called the Center, who took him away from the real world and spent years exploiting his intelligence by forcing him to run simulations and experiments. After years of isolation, Jarod Fee discovers that the Center uses his simulations to destroy the lives of many and decides he's had enough. Hence, hoping to right the wrongs, Jarod escapes the Center, the only place he's ever known, and goes into the real world for the first time in his life. Years later, Jarod discovers what his simulations were being used for, becomes crushed by unrelenting guilt, and runs away from the only place he's ever known. In 1996, following Jarod's trail, Sydney and a woman named Ms. Parker, who have been assigned to recapture Jarod, arrive in Anchorage, Alaska.
Say, are you pulling my cork about Jarod not really being a cat?
Jarod is not a monster.
Call him what you want, Dr. Frankenstein.
Elsewhere, a man walks into a crowded hospital, takes in his environment, and quickly jumps into action.
Get a doctor!
I am a doctor. Now that's a nice sound.
Later, the head of the hospital, Dr. Miles, welcomes Dr. Jarod Russell and shows him around.
Well, your record at Hopkins was impeccable. We are honored to have you on board.
Meanwhile, at the Center in Blue Cove, Delaware, Ms. Parker and Sydney meet to discuss Jarod and try to find clues on his whereabouts.
I've been through Jarod's room 1,000 times.
I haven't.
This is Jarod's last project.
Hell of an environment you keep him in, Sid.
Elsewhere, while reading about a 12-year-old boy named Kevin Bailey who had lost his parents in a car accident and suffered grave injuries, Jarod goes to St. Andrew's Middle School. There, while waiting for school to let out, Jarod heads to an ice cream shop where he seemingly discovers ice cream for the first time in his life and becomes utterly fascinated by it.
I don't make it, pal. I just serve it.
This is really very good.
Then, while enjoying the tasty treat, Jarod watches from a distance as Kevin wheels himself out of school and is picked up by his grandfather and sympathizes with the young boy. Later, while waiting to get an update from a homeless man he had just hired, Jarod watches Wheel of Fortune and becomes utterly amused by it.
Hey! The ATM says that your bank account in Alaska has been frozen. You're giving me a C note for finding out you're broke?
We had an agreement.
At the hospital in his office, while Jarod takes a sample of his own blood, he hears a knock on his door and quickly cleans up.
Could you go talk to the Greek lady? She yells at everyone that goes to her room.
You speak English.
When I feel like it.
I'll cancel it.
No surgery?
No, I'm going to try something else. Have the lab run a complete diagnostic testing on this. Put a rush on it.
At the Center, Ms. Parker is excited to get a lead on Jarod's whereabouts and rushes to the tech room to find out the details. At the hospital, Jarod informs Gwen of his decision, which takes her by surprise.
You're the doctor as long as I don't get blamed for anything.
Later, at his apartment, Jarod watches old DSA footage from 1970, which suddenly gives him a clue about Kevin's case.
I can't do this alone. He wasn't alone.
Schrader wasn't alone either, Sydney.
Later, Jarod goes to play racquetball with Miles and loses the game. The duo then meets with Alan and hangs out in the lounge.
Miles is a type A time bomb. 2 heart attacks.
Well, that was a tragedy, but let's face it. An orphan boy in a wheelchair make for sensational...
The next day, Jarod goes to the middle school and meets Kevin.
It's going to get better.
Hasn't anyone ever told you? If you talk to strangers, you end up on milk cartons.
Later, at the Center, Sydney receives a call.
I found out the real application of my simulations, Sydney. My results and blew a ship out of the water. 133 people were on board. And by the way, ice cream is good.
Meanwhile, in the tech room, absolute chaos ensues.
Client gave us $5 million to test Jarod's results.
So someone on the floor started to manipulate the markets. They've stolen our $5 million.
Meanwhile, Jarod approaches Alan at the bar and confides in him.
I think I left a hemo inside when I sewed her up.
Tell her you found some internal bleeding. Hey, you're the doctor.
I gotta get back.
Well, thank you for the advice, Alan.
Yeah.
Jarod discreetly follows Alan, who immediately goes out to meet with Gwen. Then, following his gut, Jarod searches the National Police Network and finds Gwen's arrest record. A few minutes later, Jarod receives his blood test result, which confirms what he has always suspected. That evening, a fire alarm blares at the hotel where Sydney and Ms. Parker are staying, and soon firefighters arrive and start evacuating the building.
Just 1 minute, sir.
What's this?
Instructions for retrieving the center's $5 million. Was I bought or was I stolen? And where are my mom and dad?
Jarod.
The next day, Jarod confronts Gwen with what he knows.
Who else knew you were in prison besides Trader?
You don't know what it took for me to get back on my feet.
He severed the little boy's spinal cord when he moved him.
After considering his options, Jarod invites Miles for a game of racquetball and discreetly drugs his water.
You okay, Miles?
It's Jarod.
BP has dropped from 75 to 60. I want you to start him on a nitro drip.
You tell me where Kevin Bailey's pre-op x-rays are.
Meanwhile, Ms. Parker figures out Jarod's location and, together with Sydney and her team, rushes to the hospital to find him. Seeing this, Jarod hides in Mrs. Nikos's room to evade capture and flees the area. Jarod then mails the pre-op x-ray results to Kevin and walks away smiling at the view of the Empire State Building. Sometime later, while waiting to board his flight to San Diego, Jarod is delighted to learn that Kevin has successfully sued the hospital and won millions.
You'd better board, sir. You don't want to miss the flight.
Don't worry. They're not going anywhere without me.
Well done, Jarod. Sometime later, Ms. Parker and Sydney track Jarod to the YMCA in Seattle, Washington, and head there.
He spent every second in the pool, but he didn't swim a stroke.
What do you mean?
If Mr. Spitz wasn't really an atomic engineer, how'd he stop the nuke plant from turning us into pork rind?
Meanwhile, in San Diego, Jarod, who is now a lieutenant in the Coast Guard, jumps out of a helicopter and, to the delight of his colleague, successfully rescues a woman from a boat that's about to explode. At the center, Ms. Parker gets a taunting fax from Jarod, becomes furious, and barges into a room interrupting Sydney, who's training young children.
Jarod changes color. He blends in. We'll get close when he lets us.
Patience may be a soothing catch-all for the potato heads in psychogenic service. It's the smart ones who always do something stupid.
In San Diego, Jarod gets acquainted with his new colleagues, who admire his bravery.
I wish all my transfers had your humility. Not to mention talent. I'll leave you in abler hands, Lieutenant Campbell.
Thank you, sir.
The trio then spots a seemingly abandoned boat and proceeds with caution.
Whoa now, sir. Nobody's here to hurt you.
Roy Abbott, say hello to Lieutenant Campbell.
Hi, call me Jarod.
Later, Jarod calls Sydney, who quickly sends for Ms. Parker.
I wanted to know if Jarod was my real name.
They find out what I have.
You won't be able to protect yourselves.
The next day, Jarod heads to the pier, and while he waits for a widow of a local fisherman named Tom King and her daughter to arrive, he goes into a shop.
I got the white ones, Mommy. Those were his favorites.
Then, Jarod spots the Kings from a distance and discreetly follows them as they go to visit Tom's grave. There, Tom opens his red notebook and reads about Tom's death, which was ruled an accident by the Coast Guard. Ms. Parker follows the location from the traced call and, together with Sydney and her team, heads there.
Get him!
Hey, I ain't done nothing.
What are you doing in this room?
I ain't trespassing, no. This guy gave me the room.
The next morning, Jarod visits Roy on his boat.
It's not easy wondering if someone you love is still out there.
How do you know, Magdalene?
I was talking about your boat.
I ain't moving my boat.
I bet that affected him more than he's letting on. Later, at work, Jarod joins Martha as she prepares to do a routine patrol.
All I need is another guy in this operation elbowing for room on the ladder.
I'd say from your nausea and your sore back, you're about 9 weeks.
At the center, a frustrated Ms. Parker questions Brutes.
It's hard to say. I mean, Jarod's method is so basic, so simple.
During lunch, Jarod tries to get as much information as he can from Martha.
According to satellite monitoring, the DF buoys indicated that the current was moving southwest.
For an SAR team that's come up empty, it's the kind of news that hurts the most.
What are you hiding, Martha? Later, while he discreetly watches the Kings from a distance and enjoys the sweet taste of a cookie for the first time in his life, Tom's young daughter approaches Jarod.
You twist the cookie, so the top comes off.
Your mom works hard.
Since my dad died, that's all she does.
Now determined more than ever to get to the bottom of the case, Jarod returns home and watches a DSA from 1970 and gets a break.
I
Very good, Jarod. I knew you would save them if you wanted to.
They didn't want to save Tom King. They wanted him to die.
That night, Jarod calls Ms. Parker and wakes her from sleep.
I was feeling a little guilty about my virtual phone game.
And I should care because...
It's all in the note I sent you.
The truth about what makes you sad.
The next night, at a barbecue, keeping his suspicions to himself, Jarod hangs out with Paul.
I was feeling kind of cooped up where I was living, so I decided to head out west.
Man's wife took it hard. She blamed us. We did everything we could do to save that man.
The next day, using the correct data, Jarod dives, finds Tom's boat and the statue. Later, while reminiscing about her mother, Ms. Parker receives a call and rushes out to meet Sydney and Brutes.
Interconnected 173 international calls. All 173 calls were individually initiated.
Meanwhile, following his hunch, Jarod accesses Javi's bank account information, finds evidence that proves his suspicions, and follows him to church.
And I realize why you come here so much, why you feel so guilty.
I don't know how we hit his boat, but we sheared it right in half. He literally put a gun to my head and told me to leave him.
And if you saved him?
Yeah, we'd go to jail.
Jarod spends the next couple of days coming up with an elaborate plan and heads out to meet Paul.
Do you mind if I hit the head and catch up with you?
Sure. Are you insane? We don't have scheduled radio contact until tonight.
A few minutes later, Paul runs out of fuel, becomes frustrated, and as he tries to call for help, he sees a boat speeding towards him.
45! Veer off! You behind us, son? No one tossed me a line.
Oh, don't worry. You'll be okay. Men have been known to tread water for days, just like you left Tom King.
Moments later, Sydney and Ms. Parker, who have followed Jarod's trail to the Coast Guard, arrive on the scene and start chasing Jarod, who quickly and discreetly abandons his boat and swims to Roy's to ask him for help. Sydney and Ms. Parker reach Jarod's abandoned boat and find another note and a DSA for Ms. Parker. Elsewhere, the commander receives detailed information about Paul's involvement in Tom's death, which he brings to light, and the matter is ruled murder. On the other side, Tom's daughter is delighted to receive the special statue in the mail. Ms. Parker receives a painting of her as a little girl from Jarod, reluctantly plays the DSA, and gets the shock of her life.
Get her off the elevator!
Stop it!
I want to know what really happened to my mom.
A couple of days later, Roy's boat docks and Jarod steps ashore. Sydney and Ms. Parker follow Jarod's trail to a wind power research area in Baja, California.
Well, it wasn't just the birds he was into. He really dug these. Righteous, huh?
Lovely.
Elsewhere at Sky Vionics Proving Ground in Arizona, Jarod flies a jet to get a job as a pilot.
Congratulations, you just beat the gauntlet.
This is so cool.
So how'd he do?
Only took him 1 week to do 3 weeks worth of tests.
Hey, he's the second best pilot I've ever seen.
And who's the best?
You're looking at him.
Jarod then meets a maintenance technician named Lawson and chats with him.
Scimitar chip makes any plane's onboard computer work 10 times as fast as the others.
You're Ronald Collins' replacement, Lieutenant Janice Gantz.
Nice to meet you.
Jarod heads out to the desert, where he consults his notebook and reads about a test crash that killed a pilot he's hired to replace named Ronald Collins, before inspecting the crash site. Later, Jarod heads home and watches a DSA from 1969.
Push with the pain. Focus.
Why can't I get a bike that actually goes somewhere?
Suddenly, Jarod spots a mysterious figure on the corner of the screen, crops the image, and uploads it to the center's mainframe.
You aren't uploading filthy pictures, are you? Why would you want a computer if I gave you a perfectly good TV?
At the center, Sydney and Ms. Parker review Jarod's message and become baffled.
Came down the line just a few minutes ago.
How did he find out about him?
Must be the discs from the Digital Simulation Archive.
Later, Jarod heads to the Collins neighborhood, waits in the store across the street from their house, from where he observes and sympathizes with the grieving family. Jarod then returns home and finds the nosy Mr. Hollis peeking through his window.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not really a pilot.
All right. I'm Jimmy Hoff. Lock your doors and bolt your windows, amigo. The exterminator's coming, and his name is Sky Vionics.
The next day, knowing that it would infuriate Lieutenant Janice, Jarod flies over Clearview Ridge before heading to a local bar.
What the hell do you think you were doing up there?
You knew I'd come after you.
Toughest SPO in the field. At least, that's what they tell me.
Well, between me and you and that wall of fame, Collins didn't eject because he blacked out.
Who else?
Tom Matthews.
The next day at work, Tom approaches Jarod.
I understand. You don't want a repeat of the last test.
The residual alcohol in his blood caused him to black out when he pulled too many G's.
Later, Tom heads to the Collins residence.
Your husband, you saved my tail on the third night over Baghdad. We petitioned the CNO's office about getting Ron a posthumous Gulf War commendation.
At the center, Brutes calls Sidney to the tech room to update him about his recent discovery.
It unzipped an executable that created this program.
I don't want Miss Parker to find out about this.
Meanwhile, at the Collins place, Jarod hangs out with Ron's young son and gets to know him.
Mom never liked it when we snuck out late. We never told her. That was Dad's favorite. I can name a lot of stars. Dad and I studied them.
The next day, at the company, Brutes discovers something baffling and shares it with Sidney and Miss Parker.
He landed there in the middle of the night, undetected.
One of the center's private unmarked airstrips is somewhere in Virginia, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, hoping to get to the bottom of the case once and for all, Jarod does his own investigation, watches the Scimitar simulation video, and comes to a conclusion.
Because Matthew sent you up in an unsafe plane.
Then, after studying lip reading, Jarod rewatches the DSA and figures out what Mr. Raines is saying to Sidney.
Ignorance is a poor excuse.
This is you.
I was part of something that should have never happened.
After doing more research with the Scimitar chip, Jarod heads to the hangar at work and meets with Lawson.
The specs say there's a failure rate of 0.4%. Ronald Collins didn't punch out the night of the crash because he couldn't.
And he means that literally? Meanwhile, through the system he's set up, Jarod calls Sidney and demands answers.
I only know him as Mr. Raines. Your father was an aviator.
Sidney? Damn.
After compiling everything he has discovered so far, Jarod comes up with an elaborate plan to expose Tom and plans to use Mr. Hollis's help executing it. He then calls Janice and shows her all the evidence. On the day of the big test, everyone takes their place to monitor the flight simulation and holds their breath in anticipation.
I've lost flight control!
That's because your Scimitar chip has failed.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, then you're gonna have to suffer the same fate as Ronald Collins.
Matthews! The government wants a refund!
With the cause of death officially released, Mrs. Collins is elated to get her late husband's pension and celebrates the news with her young son. Having achieved his goals, Jarod prepares to move on to his next adventure and bids Mr. Hollis farewell.
People should be made aware, if you know what I mean.
I hope you find it.
Later, Ms. Parker rushes to the local bar with her team and is surprised by what she finds there.
Jarod is not some minor inconvenience for you to pad your center expenses with.
Sometime later, Sidney and Ms. Parker follow Jarod's tail to a junkyard.
Mr. Woods brought all of these with him.
He spent 14 hours sitting in this rocking chair, flipping $50.
14 hours.
Meanwhile, at a casino in Las Vegas, Jarod outsmarts the system and draws attention to himself.
His name is Jarod Felson. I ran his ID.
You knew we'd have this conversation.
Not bad for a complete idiot.
Please, I've worked here for 10 years. All of a sudden, some jerk in a shiny suit.
Help him. What do you want?
5% of what you don't lose while I'm in charge.
Jarod immediately starts his new job, and as he walks around the casino, he's amused by what he sees.
Hey, Bernie, some guy at the craps table says he'll give you $5 to goose his wife.
I'll be right there.
At the center, Sidney and Ms. Parker go through all of Jarod's books and try to figure out what he's up to.
But look at this page of statistics. He traced over all the number 8s. Jarod is looking for a purpose.
He's playing games.
In Las Vegas, Jarod is fascinated to discover more of what he missed in his childhood.
It's about this inquisitive little monkey named George.
He was curious.
Who was the man in the yellow hat?
I don't know.
Oh, well, thank you anyway.
Later at the casino, Jarod is introduced to the owner.
I agree with Mr. Hanlon's theories on family, if that's what you mean.
Jarod, people who never even dreamed of gambling now think it's sanctioned by God.
That evening, Jarod heads to the hospital, reading about a showgirl named Maggie, who remains in a coma after being severely beaten at the casino, and heads to her room.
She's not alone anymore. If anything happens to her, will you page me?
The next day, Jarod meets with his bosses to discuss what he had discovered.
One of our showgirls was attacked in the parking garage. Mega Buster jackpot hit 2 days later, and everybody came back.
Jarod, there's a reason those numbers don't match.
That night, Jarod walks a waitress named Ivy to her car.
It happened right here. Every time I pass this spot, I swear I can smell gardenias.
Suddenly realizing something, Jarod heads back inside to watch the security footage from the night of the incident and learns that it's been manipulated. Determined to find out what's going on, Jarod heads home and watches a DSA from 1969.
Focus on the killer and not the victim.
Something's wrong with this picture.
Something's wrong with this picture too, Sidney.
A few days later, Jarod is called to the hospital and stays by Maggie's bedside, comforting her as she passes away. Later, Jarod returns home and calls the hospital.
I would like to arrange to pay Maggie Blair's hospital bills. Thank you. Just like you paid for Maggie's hospital bills and for this funeral. You found the videotape, didn't you?
Jarod convinces Kitty to give him the original security tape, which he sends to the police, and after working out an elaborate plan with the help of Bernie, he sets Peter up and convinces Steve that he has been skimming money from the casino.
The instinct in my gut told me you were bad news. Steve, I didn't do anything wrong!
Neither did Maggie Blair.
Jarod steps out, and before he can even celebrate his feat, he sees Ms. Parker and Sidney, who have discovered his location through their shady contact in the casino searching for him.
Got your radio call, Mr. Filson. Is there a problem?
Let go of me.
You might want to strip search this one.
They then head to his place and are annoyed to find a message. Sometime later, Jarod spends the whole night dreaming of his mother, wakes up feeling homesick, and calls Sidney.
Somebody at the center knows who I am. I want the truth. I'm running late.
Late for what?
Justice.
Jarod then rushes to court, where he successfully defends his first client, Isaac, and reports to his boss, Ben.
Jarod, keep up the good work.
I'll do my best, sir.
Old man Sloan lost a murder defense a few years ago, and I got stuck holding the bag.
You said your plate is full, and I could use the practice.
At the center, Sidney speaks to the director about Jarod's offer.
The harder we chase, the harder he'll run.
I'll discuss your proposal with the tower.
At work, Jarod gets to know Ben's secretary, Annie.
Annie, would you please transcribe proof and hand-deliver these to my boat tonight?
I'll tell you, it's like being Sloane's wife without the fringe benefits.
Jarod goes to the basement, reviews all the case files, and proceeds to take them home.
I got to thinking how nice you were, how decent, and I wanted to repay your kindness. You'd be surprised how many cab drivers won't pick up a man in a dress.
Jarod asks Isaac to drive him to the correctional facility, and on their way, he reads up about a janitor with a learning disability named Marcus, who has been sentenced for murder.
His name is Marcus Whitaker.
What'd he do?
Nothing.
At the center, the director shares the tower's decision with Sidney.
The chairman is going to hear about this.
Your father cast the deciding vote. The information Jarod requested will be on your desk within the hour.
Jarod returns to his place and watches a DSA from 1972.
I want to see my mother's face.
Finish the simulation and I'll see to it that you do.
He then reviews video footage showing the arrest of Marcus.
Marcus Whitaker shouldn't be forced to take the rap for the sloppy handling of this investigation.
A few days later, after doing more of his own investigation, Jarod goes to meet the prosecutor on the case.
I especially admired the way you brought down Ben Sloan a few years ago. The Whitaker trial.
We kept waiting for Sloan to play the card, to create doubt. We had witnesses who said that Marcus Whitaker was obsessed with Audrey Price.
Later, Jarod goes to the correctional facility to visit Marcus.
Why you ran away the night that Audrey Price was killed?
I didn't want to go to jail again.
Now I want to ask you about the night of the murder.
Might not look good. Mr. Sloan always looks out for me.
Jarod returns home, and after going through Michael's phone records, he finds a clue.
It's 9:20 and Michael Metzger has just killed a woman. Who does he call?
You've reached Benjamin Sloan at the marina. I wish I was on my boat right now.
The next day, Jarod calls Sidney and finds a surprising response.
Is this her, Sidney? Is this my mother?
Yes, it is.
Jarod continues going through the videos and learns more about the case.
I think this deliberation doesn't bode well for the prosecution.
Is it true that your client will not be testifying in his own defense?
Jarod designs an elaborate plan to bring down those responsible, and with the help of Isaac, sets it up.
Sir, this isn't the way back to the office.
It's such a fabulous day. What the?
On the day of the hearing, with Bradley nowhere to be found, Ben calls Jarod and asks him to accompany him to court.
Due respect, Your Honor, I wrote the motion and I did the research for this hearing.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Trying to get an innocent man a fair shot at justice.
That's enough.
Mr. Sloan, would you explain to the court why the jury never saw this photograph?
I don't know what kind of law you're practicing here.
Congratulations, Marcus. You're a free man.
Well done, Jarod. Then, as Jarod proceeds to leave the court, he sees Ms. Parker and Sydney rushing inside looking for him, starts running, and quickly gets away. Jarod watches more DSA videos and studies the simulations closely.
There are people who believe this photograph was manufactured, and the people who love him want to know if he's still alive.
Meanwhile, Sydney and Miss Parker track Jarod to North Carolina, but are frustrated to learn that he's no longer there.
He walked in here, and he didn't know a pickle barrel from a gun barrel. He was staying at the lodge up near the highway. You might check there.
Well, thank you.
Sure enough.
In Miami, Jarod starts a new job.
Was I going too fast when I passed that truck?
No, sir.
Jarod returns to the precinct and, to the delight of his new colleagues, stops a criminal who tries to escape.
Slick move. Carl Bishop.
How you doing? Frank Myers.
Did I miss something?
Typical IA Frost.
Jarod then goes out on patrol and stops a driver who runs a red light.
Can I help you, officer? I was going to blow out the headers and open up the cylinder block.
Later, Jarod stops by a bakery and is fascinated by what he finds.
But if the hole is here, why do you call this the hole? I'll have another one, please.
On the house.
Jarod goes through his notebook to read up on Marvin's case, and after learning the name of the woman who reunited the late Marvin with his father, he goes to see her.
How can I help you?
In North Carolina, the sheriff stops Ms. Parker, and after searching her and finding a concealed weapon, he arrests her.
Do you mind telling me how you knew that this person was telling the truth?
He sounded honest.
When exactly is that?
Day after tomorrow.
At the agency, Susan tries to learn more about Jarod.
I'd be willing to risk anything for the chance to find out.
Are they still alive? I was wondering if you knew if your parents were still alive.
I don't know.
At the police station, Jarod hears a commotion and goes to check it out.
She ran an empty county ambulance off the road and was suspending her driver's license.
Later, Jarod goes to a jewelry shop to make a purchase.
Tax, that would be $5,328. I'll take it.
Jarod steps outside and gives the expensive ring to a homeless man before heading home.
The woman instrumental in bringing the two men together. Father and...
Raspberry Supremes?
Whatever.
They're very good.
What do you like, a cop?
How did you know?
The next day, Jarod approaches Detective Karen in her office.
Do you have any particular case in mind?
Yes, I do. Bishop and Myers responded to a robbery call at the jewelry store.
You have to realize that part of the job is to get inside the heads of the people involved in the case.
The next day, Jarod arrives late to work and asks Carl for help.
My transfer papers got sent to my house by mistake. Would you give them to her? Read this. I think we found the guy we've been looking for.
Later, Jarod responds to a call and is once again distressed to find Millie in the middle of it.
I'm not gonna let that old bag get away. She almost wasted me, man.
And I could, of course, search your van.
Sandpaper and touch-up paint on.
Then, Jarod meets Carl and Frank for lunch.
Yeah, we know about the investigation. About the payoff money you were collecting from the dealers on the south side.
Frank and I do the job, but we're always looking for new opportunities. Isn't that right, Frank?
Later, Jarod receives a call from Susan that shakes him up.
We got an anonymous phone call. Whoever it was recognized the woman in the picture and has a name. They're sending the information by special courier. I'll call you the second it gets here.
Who could have sent it? Gathering himself, Jarod goes to meet Frank and Carl.
What if something goes wrong?
It won't. We just make it look like we stopped a robbery in progress.
In North Carolina, Miss Parker is released from jail.
Oh, Miss Parker, do you know a man by the name of Brutes? He says he located the target!
Sydney and Miss Parker reach the agency and walk in just as Susan hands Jarod the package that was just delivered from Delaware. Panicked, Jarod jumps out of the window and starts running away. Unfortunately, Ms. Parker shoots at him, causing him to drop the package and lose the answer he's waited for his whole life.
You sent this, didn't you?
I was with you, Miss Parker.
Jarod spends the next couple of days collecting evidence and planning the perfect way to bring Carl and Frank to justice. He then joins them for a job one night and drives with them to their target.
What are you doing?
I was just wondering how Marvin Kembrook felt the night he died. Imagine his relief when he gets there and he finds 2 police officers on the scene.
Frank and I went inside, identified ourselves as officers, but the place was empty except for the body.
When they get inside, the officers are shocked to see no trace of Jarod, and instead find a letter addressed to Detective Karen.
The body was lying right here, I swear it. I saw it myself.
Let's have a look in the trunk of your car. You're under arrest for the murder of Marvin Kembrook.
At the center, Sydney calls Ms. Parker out on her curious decision.
I told you when I was 11 years old that I would never give up. It's who I am, Sydney. It's what you made me.
Ms. Parker tracks Jarod to a high school in Portland, Oregon, and heads there.
Hey, we even did a virology unit on bugs to learn their resiliency.
She then goes to inspect the note and does as instructed. Elsewhere, at his new job, Jarod responds to a call.
Violating quarantine procedures with these people was damn foolish. If you don't want to end up dead, you'll remember that every one of these situations should be treated as a level 4 situation.
At the center, Ms. Parker and Sydney receive concerning news.
He wasn't answering my email messages, so I tried another tack.
Mr. Raines hasn't been in the lab in 10 years.
Well, he's in there now.
Sydney, we need him.
At the Regional Infectious Disease Authority, Dr. Walters shows Jarod around and gets to know him.
Mr. Betos tends to be overcautious.
You call your morgue the submarine?
What did you call it at BAMRIT?
Later, Jarod reads the articles he collected on the mysterious disappearance of a writer scientist named John Florence and goes to visit his family.
He loved that job. He was the first to arrive and the last to leave.
I'm working with Walter Garber now. I'm trying to finish the work your husband started.
The next day, Jarod reports to work and joins his colleagues at the lab.
Come on, let's move it. Go!
Stay calm. You'll be fine.
Jarod discreetly searches for the security footage from the day of John's disappearance and watches it.
The autopsy on the monkey. Look at the liver.
Realizing that the footage has been tampered with, Jarod discreetly downloads the original and takes it home to watch it.
Go my air house! Let go of my air house! My God, Walter!
Following his gut, Jarod goes to the morgue and is disheartened to find John's body. Later, while at home, Jarod remembers a simulation he did when he was young and gets an idea.
He contacted me. No secrets.
Hoping to learn more about the situation, Jarod talks to his colleague Lisa.
This is worse than any level 4 I've ever seen.
It's a level 5.
Wait, how did you get in the submarine? Only
Besides Garber, he was the only person that knew everything that was going on here.
Then, after figuring out Jeff's involvement, Jarod approaches him.
And I know that you helped Garber doctor this tape, but what I can't figure out is why John Florence did not die because of you or the decon shower. He died because Walter Garber murdered him.
After setting a plan to expose Walter, Jarod calls him to the lab.
My God, man, it's an airborne virus!
Walter, your air hose.
There's pressure failure in the decon line.
Well, you better get into the slammer, sir. Nobody here, sir. I sent them all home.
Talk about getting a taste of your own medicine. Meanwhile, Ms. Parker arrives at Jarod's apartment and once again finds a message waiting for her.
Welcome to the world's largest bug motel.
You son of a bitch.
Later, Sydney meets Jarod at a bar.
No one at the center would have ever known what this meant. Did Miss Parker take the bait?
Presumably.
Jarod then visits Mrs. Florence.
Thank you for everything.
On Christmas Eve in 1971, desperate to see the snow up close, Jarod sneaks outside. But before he can enjoy it, he's caught and sent back inside. In the present day, in Maryland, now working as a coroner, Jarod responds to a call with his team and, after doing some initial assessment, brings it back to the office.
Dr. Jarod Morley, meet Dr. Elizabeth Drake, our chief coroner.
The eggnog was hard when we found it, but it wasn't completely frozen through.
That evening, Jarod returns to his place and watches a DSA video.
I'll be gone for the week, and I wanted to say goodbye. If you can keep a secret, I brought you a little something. A gift.
The next night, Jarod and his team respond to another call.
I wonder who she is.
We'll never know. LGL, bagger and tagger.
No witness, no ID.
Her family must be worried sick, wondering where she is.
The next day, Jarod sees a man mourning on the street and approaches him.
You, George?
I feel like I did.
George's all the family I had. Oh, everybody thought he was a bum because he didn't have a home and panhandled to get by.
Later, Jarod goes to the Children's Center to spend some time with them.
Is Christmas George coming back?
Why did you like Christmas George?
Well, he was nice. So every time it's Christmas, I can think about George and he'll be here?
Elsewhere, as she puts up Christmas decorations, Ms. Parker receives a call.
Some European associates will attend. Be prompt.
Of course, Daddy. Merry Christmas.
Jarod does his own investigation, poses as a 911 call operator to find the call made to report the hit-and-run accident, copies it, and listens to it intently once he's alone.
Tell me what the problem is, sir.
They hit him. They ran George down. You gotta get somebody down here. I didn't see no car.
At work, disregarding his boss's careless orders, Jarod completes his examination and updates the detective.
Will you tell her family right away?
Count on it. Good work, Jarod. See you around.
Then, Jarod chats with Kim and learns more about the case.
According to the toxicology report, there were traces of phenotrypticol.
Isn't that used to subdue patients during psychotic episodes?
Where the patient is conscious but rendered immobile.
Jarod returns home that evening and watches another DSA, which makes him nostalgic.
You're Miss Parker, aren't you? I didn't know anyone was here. Mom lets me see the rabbits when no one's here.
The next day, Jarod waits for Elizabeth to leave work and jumps in front of her car, and she drives away.
I'm fine. Come on. I can help you out with that. Our patients may be dead, but we're still doctors, right?
After collecting all the evidence needed for a conviction, Jarod approaches Elizabeth.
I tried baking one myself, and I want you to be the first to taste it.
Oh my God.
Dr. Drake?
My stomach. Oh my God.
I can't call 911.
Are you crazy?
No, but I am thorough. She's gonna wake up with a wicked case of diarrhea from the fruitcake.
While getting ready for the party, Ms. Parker receives a call.
I understand. No. We'll do it next year.
Later, while a broken-hearted Ms. Parker stays home, she is surprised to receive a Christmas gift from Jarod, opens it, and is utterly delighted to find a white rabbit inside. Elsewhere, Jarod sends all the evidence to Detective Guerra. He then goes to the Children's Center and spends the evening reading them a book, surprises them with gifts, and disappears. Meanwhile, Sidney goes home to visit his comatose brother and gets a surprise.
Jarod was here.
He stayed just long enough to leave the gift. But when he placed that in his hand, I swear I thought I saw your brother smile.
At the center, Ms. Parker and Sidney review a DSA from 1971.
I beg to differ, Miss Parker. This is very important to Jarod. I'm not sure what the original intent of the simulation was.
Meanwhile, Jarod starts his new job at a skydiving school in Texas.
Are you the expert?
Sort of.
Sort of.
At the center, Ms. Parker gets a surprise.
Oh, this man?
Never seen him before in my life.
At the school, Carol shows Jarod around and shares her plans for the school.
I'm on the run from a secret organization. I needed a place to hide out for a while.
Lofty credentials for someone looking to teach the public to tuck and roll.
At the center, with the help of Sidney and Brutes, Ms. Parker inspects the picture closer.
Torture?
Jared's playing games.
All I got is a street sign. Black Ridge Lane. Maybe you're right. Maybe he just wants to torture you.
Brutes.
What?
Zoom in on that. Maine.
I'll be damned.
Later, in Texas, Jarod visits Tom's pregnant widow, Angela.
Can I get you something? Want me to get you a glass of water or something?
I just need to catch my breath. Are you learning to jump?
No, actually, I just started working here.
Meanwhile, Ms. Parker and Sidney head to Maine and get a break.
Setting back the bathroom scale 3 pounds, that's cheating. By now, I would imagine that you are staking out the Greenridge Diner.
Try the Monte Cristo. I hear it's excellent.
In Texas, Jarod takes a moment to chat with Daniel and subtly gathers valuable information.
Isn't it a little difficult to run a jump school if you don't jump?
All he really cared about was his wife and that baby coming. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. But hey, it's a desert.
In Maine, Ms. Parker follows Benjamin to the bed and breakfast and is shocked.
I was hoping you'd come.
What are you talking about?
In Texas, Jarod accepts a dinner invitation from Angela and goes to her house.
It's important that his son know who his father was. Thank God for Tom's insurance money.
What do you mean?
We're going to use it to rebuild the jump school.
But why couldn't she do that with her own money? Jarod then poses as an IRS agent, steals Tom's file from the sheriff's office, and starts studying it. Then, Jarod visits a local man named Ernie and hangs out with him.
My family's lived under this sky for over 7 generations.
Who else knows about this plant?
Anyone who's lived their life in a desert would know.
In Maine, Ms. Parker and Benjamin take a walk and catch up.
You came here exactly this time every year. She loved the spring.
She used to tell me she was visiting her sister. It would mean a lot to me if I could see where she stayed.
At the skydiving school, Jarod conducts his own investigation and makes a call.
You're in luck. In 2 months, we're opening a skydiving school near El Paso.
Following his instincts, Jarod then breaks into the police database and learns that Daniel is wanted for parole violation.
I know Carol's using Angela to get to Tom Miles' insurance money. I also know you are getting 25% of whatever Carol's stake is in the sale.
In Maine, Benjamin shows Ms. Parker to her late mother's room.
Looking at you standing there, I thought for a minute I saw Catherine again.
While going through her mother's stuff, Ms. Parker finds some haunting documents that leave her feeling completely defeated and confused. At the skydiving school, Daniel shares everything he knows.
Came out to the hangar the morning of the jump and switched Tom's canteen. She offered me a percentage just to help her get the place turned around for the sale to Tasco.
Armed with everything he has learned, Jarod sets up an elaborate plan and reports to work the next day.
You're a pilot?
Mm-hmm.
How long till we can take off?
Meanwhile, in Maine, after spending the night at the bed and breakfast, Ms. Parker prepares to leave. At the school, Jarod and Carol start their flight.
I think it's the fuel pump.
Then, having no other choice, Jarod and Carol skydive.
I think I broke my leg.
Don't worry, somebody will find us.
Tom?
Now maybe you can imagine how Tom felt those last moments.
Meanwhile, as she leaves the bed and breakfast, Ms. Parker receives a call from Jarod.
Although it's not quite what you thought it was, is it? With instincts like that, you'll catch me yet.
That evening, Jarod thanks Ernie, bids him farewell, and leaves. During a massive fire in Pittsburgh, Jarod, who's now a firefighter, rescues a young girl.
Get the hell out! That place is gone! How are you doing in there?
Where are you? Somebody help me!
Oh, yeah.
At the center, Ms. Parker is briefed on the new addition to the team.
Please don't trivialize this, Miss Parker. His name is Angelo.
In Pittsburgh, Jarod returns to the fire station with his new colleagues and is congratulated.
Jarod, you are now a member of the best damn firefighting unit in this city.
Take any locker you want, just make sure it doesn't have a name on it.
Elsewhere, Sydney and Ms. Parker go out to lunch and continue discussing Angelo.
He has no personality of his own, but he can absorb the personality data that we give him.
Michael.
Come here.
Ms. Parker leaves with her married old friend and starts having an affair with him. In Pittsburgh, Jarod meets the arson investigator and introduces himself.
Do you mind if I take a stab at this?
Feel free. The burns are mostly concentrated on the walls. Another needless catastrophe solved.
At the fire station, Jarod cooks lunch for everyone, but it completely goes sideways.
Threw up is more like it.
There's only one thing that can save this disaster. I had a decent meal around here since Copeland died.
The next day, hoping to learn more about Tamara's case, Jarod approaches Roy.
No, I mean, I've been going over some of these old records. Boy, you guys are good.
You follow Harrigan, you'll be fine. Harrigan decided they were too volatile to risk his men.
Live to fight another day.
Later, Lieutenant Nancy visits her late best friend's father, Herb, at his diner and gets a surprise.
You have no right to be here. You're not going to make this easy, are you?
I came by to pay my respects, and the cook called in sick, so I offered to help.
Later, the captain invites his team over to his house, where they all hang out.
Must have taken a lot of guts for Copeland to run into that burning warehouse.
She thought she heard screams and went inside half-cocked.
Really? That wasn't in the papers.
The next day at work, Jarod cooks a delicious meal for his colleagues.
I think cooking one of Copeland's meals helps to keep her here among us.
Nancy,
Jarod spends the next couple of days investigating the case and invites John to the diner to talk to him about it.
Char trail leads from the middle of the room, travels out in a web pattern.
I guess that moron would have to be you. Because it was your ruling.
Confronted by the truth, John takes Jarod to the warehouse where Tamara had died and narrates what really happened.
Told me to get away. Said he wasn't going down for the fire.
All she wanted to do was save your life.
Later, after compiling all his findings, Jarod approaches Nancy at work.
You were supposed to work the shift the night she died, but she filled in for you, didn't she?
I wasn't there for her.
But you can be there for her now.
Determined to expose the captain for his heinous crime, Jarod sets a trap and employs Nancy's help to execute it.
Harrigan. I want to show you this neat trick that I taught Ember. Neat little trick, huh, Harrigan?
Oh, no!
You left Tamara Copeland, didn't you?
Yes, I left her!
You left her to burn.
Put it out!
Hang back. This place is definitely NWS.
Meanwhile, at the fire station, Jarod gets a surprise visit.
Put your hands up and turn around. You're really not in a position to ask.
Ms. Parker is going to lose her mind over this. Luckily, with the help of the dog who distracts Michael, Jarod manages to flee the area. A few minutes later, Ms. Parker and her team, who have employed Angelo's help to track Jarod down to the fire station, arrive there.
By the way, I was faking it.
At the center, Mr. Raines calls Mr. Parker to give him an update.
Searching the internet for any signs of him now.
Ms. Parker and Sydney track Jarod to Louisiana and head there.
I don't know where he went. Just disappeared.
Maybe there's a reason.
Meanwhile, in Detroit, Michigan, Jarod starts a new job.
Oh, cowboy. Bet he needs a beauty rest.
Catch me if you can, you miscreants.
Miscreants.
Once everything settles down, Jarod and his new colleagues start combing the area for evidence.
Now you know what a close encounter with a fax bomber feels like, huh?
Now this bomber faxes his threats in. It's a unique MO.
The team returns to the office and discusses the findings.
Based on his fax threats and other data, the bomber is a left-handed.
Hoping to share his theory, Jarod pulls Lieutenant Chomsky aside to talk to him.
Guy's here a week. He's already bucking for my bars.
No, sir. I just happen to have a different opinion. It's exactly who he wants us to think he is.
At the center, a frustrated Ms. Parker scolds Brutes.
Stay here, Mr. Brutes. I've come to plug a leak.
In Detroit, Jarod and his team find a lead and follow it.
Herring, we're not here to arrest your son.
I knew someday the cops would show up and take him away.
Don't say nothing, Ma. This is all going on tape somewhere, I know it. Till then, me and my mother's got nothing to say to you miscreants.
Could that just be a coincidence? Still not convinced, Jarod reads about Rachel and goes to visit her.
It's a beautiful day. Why don't we go outside?
It was such a nice day, I decided to go on the rooftop at City Hall. When I had my eyes behind the camera, I could see things no one else could see.
At the center, Sydney, Ms. Parker, and Brutes prepare to take a polygraph test.
Have you pursued Jarod to the best of your ability? Did you attempt to provide him with classified information?
Yes, but with a view to bringing him home.
This can't be. In Detroit, Jarod studies the case further and shares his findings.
Notice the angle of the grooves on the parallels. Gives us something to run down with the knife manufacturers.
He then approaches his colleague and asks him for a personal favor.
I was wondering if you could age her. 30 years. I'll make it worth your while.
Hey, I'll see what I can do.
Jarod and Daniel respond to the call and rush to the scene, but are soon relieved to learn that it was just a hoax.
It's nice work.
Oh, yeah. From my Army days. I do not remember one thing that happened that entire month except for this needle artist.
Jarod then visits Rachel and gives her a chance to identify her attacker.
Natural light is at its perfect angle. It's cologne. No, it's medicine, menthol.
Then, posing as an FBI agent, Jarod goes to see one of Daniel's old Army friends, Steven.
We'd probably have shot him ourselves if he hadn't caught the shrapnel on the shoulder. You don't see any moronic little birds on me, do you? Hey, what's the little weasel applying for anyway?
Bomb squad.
God help us all.
Shocked, Jarod rushes to the scene and is dismayed by what he sees.
I wasn't home last night. I had a day. Ma's here, honey.
What are you doing about this guy? I mean, I came over here to see if I could get...
Elsewhere, suspicious that Brutes may have been the mole all along, Sydney and Ms. Parker discreetly surveil him.
Could he have found Jarod?
I don't know.
What is this? What are you doing?
Meanwhile, in Detroit, Jarod boldly challenges Curtis's involvement.
Is he left-handed?
As a matter of fact, he is.
Could you be more ignorant? At the center, Ms. Parker confronts Brutes, but is surprised by his answer.
I sold my soul to be in this place. I'm not selling her. So don't mess with her.
Jarod spends the next couple of days designing the perfect trap and sets it up.
Hey, Carlson.
What?
You'd better take a look at this. See?
No!
Hope you can figure out which wire to snip.
At the center, Mr. Parker calls Mr. Raines to ask for an update.
Did you find something, Angelo?
Why did Angelo cover that up? Sometime later, Jarod watches a DSA from 1970 and tries to remember the details of the simulation.
But I know it's too late to change any of that.
There's nothing you want to confess?
He then leaves to start his new job.
Line up and shut up! Let's go!
At the center, Sydney gets a lead on Jarod's plan.
The director thinks a little technical support might help.
Involved with Jarod.
And you're the fix.
At the prison, Jarod is welcomed by the warden, who warns him to be alert.
I'm proud to say that we squelched that one with extreme prejudice.
With the Carl Will execution on Saturday, there promises to be plenty of that.
Elsewhere, after learning that Jarod is not at the cafe, Ms. Parker, Sydney, and Brutes decide to stake it out for the next few days and head to the motel across the street.
Do you know this man?
Jarod. Yeah, he comes through here every now and then.
You know, I bet it wasn't Donnie.
Meanwhile, Jarod watches a news report about the planned execution and studies the details.
Jessica's belief in her father fueled her to spend the next 7 years in college and law school.
The next day, the warden holds a press conference and confidently defends the governor's decision to dismiss Jessica's appeal.
Found Carl Will next to the body of Anthony Lewis holding the murder weapon. The time has come for us to do our job, and we're going to do it at dawn Saturday.
Later, Jarod introduces himself to Carl.
You stare at them long enough and you swear they start creeping in on you.
Some people struggling down the gantry. You're telling me a man wearing that uniform hasn't heard this story?
He then follows Jessica to a local establishment and approaches her.
I just shared a meal with your father, and I don't think your father deserves his.
5 years in that lockup. He was a week away from parole.
At the prison, Jarod approaches an inmate named Henry and chats with him.
Hardly seems long enough for Carl Will to grow to hate him enough to want to kill him.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Prison's a place to keep your head down, your mouth shut.
Later, Jarod observes the guards practicing for the next day, under the warden's supervision.
Initiate the sequence.
Why the hesitation? Mistaken communication, sir. It won't happen at showtime.
Elsewhere, at the motel, the trio remains cooped up together, trying to find a clue, until Ms. Parker suddenly faints.
And from the way you were folded up when I got here, it's a doozy. You're going to have to change your lifestyle or else.
The next day, Tommy returns home and is surprised to find Jarod waiting for him.
Saw your face as we were doing the walkthrough. Someone who thinks that Jessica Will deserves to have her father just as much as those kids deserve to have theirs.
At the motel, while trying to occupy themselves with a board game, Brutes notices something.
Relax, little lady. I'm just the Pony Express. That's an awfully big gun for such a pretty little lady.
I knew there was something missing. Chance, get out of jail free.
Jarod sets up a plan to expose Morris and sets it in motion.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Same thing you've been doing.
I did the public a favor, and you almost got away with it. Except Carl Will was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right now, I'd like to hug my dad and tell him how much I love him.
Just as the trio arrives at the prison, Jarod finds his way out and disappears. A few months later, Jarod starts his new role and quickly settles in.
Charlton Heston.
Right.
How long was Jarod?
A couple of weeks. That's all it took him to figure it out.
At a naval station in Los Angeles during training, Jarod hears some commotion and quickly intervenes.
Number 1 just took the bait. Number 2 closing.
Rostov's VLS system is still ready.
Those nukes fly in 1 minute, sir.
Meanwhile, in Delaware, Ms. Parker goes to the children's home hoping to learn about her mother.
I'm sorry. None of them ring a bell. It's not a dead end, Miss Parker.
Later, Jarod shares his concerns with his colleagues, who offer him some advice.
Nagel seemed pretty steamed about the last tour.
Yeah, well, that's the only chink in his armor. It's pretty intense. It's not something I want to live through again.
One morning, still suspicious of his credentials, Paula calls Jarod to her office.
I wanted you here when I call Admiral Mason. He signed your recommendation.
How could I forget?
See her!
Melina, I'm in a meeting.
I know. I won't be alone, Mom. There'll be 40,000 other people there.
In Delaware, Ms. Parker spends hours going through files in the Missing Children archive and is annoyed to find a taunting message from Jarod. Later, Jarod steals reports of the tragic incident and studies them.
Ice crystals formed in the lungs within 30 seconds, resulting in asphyxiation.
Jarod continues studying the case, and it all starts to make sense.
You believe that sealing that room was the correct course of action?
JX5 gas might have seeped to the rest of the ship.
Elsewhere, Ms. Parker returns home late and finds Sydney waiting for her there.
Hall of Records. You're starting to ask questions.
Is that a threat?
A warning.
Jarod then talks to Albert, learns more about the tragic incident, and becomes more determined than ever to get justice for Scott.
Ashton tried to save that poor kid. The pump room was going to blow. There was no time.
Yeah, well, you can't miss something that's not there to begin with. I'm not going back there. Ever.
In Delaware, Sydney calls Ms. Parker with an update.
When I catch him, I'll just have to find out.
However, naval intelligence may already be onto him.
After designing the perfect plan to expose Chris, Jarod puts it in motion.
Hell of a day for deployment. What's a good word?
Surprise. Are you starting to feel out of it? Are you starting to feel disoriented?
Open the hatch! Ms. Parker gets to the naval station and starts searching for Jarod.
Well, he was ordered back to Norfolk by the secretary, no less.
From a distance, Jarod salutes Ms. Parker and speeds away. Ms. Parker returns to her room later and is annoyed to find another message from Jarod. In Oregon, while at a diner, Jarod hears disturbing news and goes to offer his services.
You got experience?
Well, I spent a few years. Of course, for the last few days, the boss had me doing paperwork while he got to do all the fun stuff.
Park Ranger Stan then introduces himself to Jarod and tries to get to know him.
Where were you stationed? Fort Lewis?
You were in the Army, too.
Everyone heads out and prepares to start the search.
Split into teams of 2 and fan across the mountain. I want everyone to report in at 30-minute intervals.
Jarod is delighted to be paired with Nia and starts his search.
Victor had been out here for months, yet there was no sign of a refuse pile. Somebody's covered their tracks by brushing over them.
You can't shake the hand of a man who just startled me. I have to wait till the next time I see you.
Jarod and Nia take the equipment back to the office. Jarod goes to Nia's place to spend the night, becomes overwhelmed by his feelings for her and confused as to how to deal with them, and calls Sydney for help.
It's okay. You're safe.
Later, Sydney plays the tape to Ms. Parker.
I've been around hundreds of women since I left, but I never experienced with them what I feel with the one I just met.
Seemingly upset by what she hears, Ms. Parker spends the night thinking about the first time she met Jarod during an experiment when they were both young. The next morning, while out searching, Nia and Jarod run into Bob.
This is the second time you've seen me.
Except you just walked between 2 pine trees. Ranger Conrad was clearing the trail of some old stumps.
That evening, while Jarod is in the shower, Nia goes through his things and watches a DSA.
I'm burning!
Jarod! I'm here!
Is that boy you?
I know it's crazy, but I can explain.
Later that night, while in bed, Jarod suddenly figures out a clue.
This was Victor's camp.
It was way too low on the mountain to observe the nesting patterns of eagles.
What the hell is that?
The plane that scared little Bob.
While Ms. Parker sits alone in her house daydreaming about the time she spent with Jarod and the first kiss she shared with him, Jarod and Nia find a safe place, make fire, and get to know each other.
I don't know if my parents are dead or alive. I could hear my mother screaming, cursing at them.
Jarod and Nia spend the night together. The next morning, Jarod is awakened by the sound of footsteps and is surprised by what he sees.
Little Bob.
Oh, Bob. The one and only.
Decided to blow up the entrance, sealing him in.
Jarod and Nia find Victor alive, and after they make sure he's all right, Jarod hatches a plan.
Hey, Simpkins.
Well, it's about time.
Do you think this is what hell is like, Stan?
I'll lead the search for you personally.
Jarod! Jarod!
Jarod thanks Bob and sends him on his way so that he can wait for Stan. A couple of days later, Jarod prepares himself to leave.
I know how to take care of myself. I hope you find what you're looking for.
You've already helped me find a part of it.
A few minutes later, Ms. Parker and her team, who have managed to successfully trace the call, arrive at Nia's place looking for Jarod.
Did he say where he was going?
No, but he did mention something about love in Argentina.
See, you could have stayed, Jarod. A few weeks later, Sydney and Ms. Parker follow Jarod's trail to New York City, but are disappointed to once again realize that they're too late.
Stayed here for about a week, then he was gone.
In Seattle, Jarod starts his new job as a cameraman.
Tell them how much you love them, how much you miss them. First, we have to get off this ledge.
Meanwhile, Sydney and Ms. Parker head to the Bronx to check out the apartment building.
I'm going to count to 3. Then I'm going to shoot whoever you are.
At the news station, Jarod pulls Annie aside to talk to her.
Second shelf.
Great, thank you. The Ken Watanabe shooting. I heard about this.
That evening, Jarod watches the videos from the night of the shooting and sympathizes with Ken, whose arm has become paralyzed due to his injuries.
My arm! Get me out of here, man! Get me out of here! Come on.
Meanwhile, at the center, while entertaining himself online, Brutes gets a call.
No, sir. I haven't seen your daughter since yesterday.
The next morning, as Jarod heads into work, he's delighted to see Dave.
I don't know what got into me.
Did you find your wife and kids?
I just came by to say thanks.
He then heads inside to speak to Phil.
I was wondering, is the raw footage lying around somewhere?
In New York, a frustrated Ms. Parker tries to find a way out to no avail.
My good leg will be if we don't stop the bleeding.
You're going into shock. You need to be warm.
In Seattle, Jarod follows Ken to the park and approaches him.
Hey, I know you.
You're the cameraman that was on the news.
When you finally get there, bridge washes out.
Later, Jarod returns home and studies the footage of the shooting closely.
Hey, Steve-Man! Hey, Steve-Man!
Jarod then breaks into the office and finds Phil's bulletproof vest hidden in his desk. Elsewhere, still trapped in the building with no sign of hope, Ms. Parker becomes desperate.
I'm dying for a cigarette.
In Seattle, in the evening, Jarod goes out to the bar with his colleagues. At the center, while Brute scrambles trying to find a lead on Sydney and Ms. Parker, he receives a call.
1811 North Bushnell Street, the Bronx.
At the apartment building, Ms. Parker tries to learn about her past.
Was she murdered because of the rescued children?
He's not very different from us, you know. We'd all have.
Meanwhile, Jarod reaches out to D-Mac.
Well, didn't your mom ever tell you that white people shouldn't go walking through other people's neighborhoods?
Hey, man, the camera guy shouldn't have been there. Tell me what happened.
Later, I heard word leaders got the same call.
At the apartment building, Sydney falls asleep and dreams about the day of Catherine's funeral.
Why is everyone wearing black?
We're remembering someone who's left us, Jared.
In Seattle, Annie scolds Jarod for going behind her back.
You broke into my edit file and stole footage?
What happened to Ken happened because Phil is desperate for ratings.
Determined to bring Phil to justice, Phil hatches a plan and sets it in motion.
Chris tipped you on this? He thinks it's going to make a terrific follow-up to the Ken Watanabe segment. We can cover the door, stay in the shadow.
Jared, where are you?
Above you.
Jared, these guys are gonna kill each other. It'll be great TV.
That mean you called me here to threaten my ass?
That was the money shot you've all been waiting for. Jarod Crane, Channel 43 News, reporting.
Later, Jarod meets Ken at the park and presents him with something that changes his life for the better.
When you build this harness for me, I'll give you my job back at the station.
You've got to promise me.
Elsewhere, Brutes arrives at the building and, with the help of the police, rescues his colleagues. A few months later, Sydney and Ms. Parker track Jarod to the Atlanta School of Medicine, head there, and are surprised by what they learn.
Jarod used to inject them with something and then stare at them for hours.
He's trying to save lives.
In Atlanta, Georgia, Jarod reports to his shift as an EMT.
I'm going to stay here for a while.
She's going to surgery.
I know. I just want to make sure she's all right.
Meanwhile, at the center, Brutes learns that Sydney has gone missing and that some controlled medications from the pharmacy are missing, and informs Ms. Parker.
Great, now Sydney will turn up in some hop house and we'll lose Jared's trail again.
Elsewhere, Jarod and his colleagues take a coffee break and get to know each other.
I didn't think the inspection was going to be for another 2 weeks.
This guy is a bigger pain in the ass.
At the Mount Pleasant home, Sydney visits Jacob.
I promised you. I would never give up.
Jarod visits a young comatose grad student named Steven at the hospital and sympathizes with the desperate family. At the center, Ms. Parker and Brute spend hours searching for clues to Sydney's whereabouts.
Medical journals, Plant World magazine, Book of the Week Club.
Give me that.
At the hospital, Jarod casually approaches one of Steven's doctors and chats with her.
I've seen this injury 100 times, and I'm usually able to stabilize the patient.
Then, Jarod visits Steven and comforts his parents.
Treats of the place where Oliver Twist was born.
They said if anyone would accept the treatment, Stephen would.
Later, Max runs into Jarod and confronts him.
You don't seem to have any documents that support your identity.
At home, while spending time with his brother, Sydney is haunted by old memories.
We're not doing anything wrong. Open your eyes, Sydney. They are open, Jacob.
The next day, Jarod goes to the hospital and checks on one of the patients.
I just wanted to check on the status of the stockbroker that Rennert and I brought in yesterday.
Did Gary know this? Then Jarod sees Dr. Fletcher hand a suspicious envelope to Gary, confirming his theory. Elsewhere, Ms. Parker goes to the home to confront Sydney and is shocked to learn about Jacob.
None of your business.
Your business is my business.
To the delight of Sydney, Jacob opens his eyes. Jarod goes to the hospital to visit Stephen and speaks to his mother.
I know Richard has too, he just won't admit it.
There's still so much you could try.
Jarod then rushes home to find the medicine, but is devastated to see the mouse he had experimented on with his technique dead on the table. Hence, he calls Sydney to warn him.
The effect is only temporary.
I have tried to come here as often as I can.
Then, to the confusion of Sydney, Jacob musters his strength to write SL-27. While waiting for Sydney outside Jacob's room, Ms. Parker receives a call.
It doesn't concern you.
It's center business.
Make sure Jacob never wakes up again.
The next day, while Jarod prepares to start his shift, Max comes to visit him.
I can't even verify that you're trained for this job. I need to know that the people you're assisting
are in the right hands.
Jarod then hatches a plan and joins Gary on his shift the next day.
Guess I'm the lab rat now, huh, Doc?
At the home, the sweepers arrive and rush to carry out Mr. Raines' orders.
Mr. Raines insists I watch.
Sydney gets out of bed and goes to check on Jacob in the next room.
He slipped back into the coma. He wrote something down first.
Elsewhere, Julie rushes to the hospital to speak to Dr. Sarah.
Jarod wanted you to see this.
Stephen Chambers.
Is this what someone's life is worth to you? Or is Stephen Chambers' parents are going to have to unplug the machines that are breathing life into their only son?
Godspeed, my son.
Later, Jarod calls Sydney to check on him. Ms. Parker follows Jarod's trail to Florida and starts asking around about him.
Did he leave anything behind, like a red notebook?
Said if you wanted it, you had to sign for it.
Ms. Parker heads to a bank in Dover, Delaware, uses the key to access a safety deposit box, finds her mother's medical records, and becomes devastated to read the contents. In Delaware, as soon as Ms. Parker returns to the center, she is ordered to report to the office.
Was in the safety deposit box.
Ms. Parker resumes her work immediately and meets with Sydney and Brutes for an update.
When Jarod was in Atlanta, Cassandra was just a badly formed tropical depression.
In Florida, Jarod joins the Marine Patrol and discreetly surveils an officer named Ephraim, who is accused of taking bribes and abusing Haitians at the refugee detention center. He then goes to visit a young, sick Haitian girl named Simone, who had lost her parents.
But I'll get you some more as soon as we see your family in Miami.
Jarod then heads to work and sets up his plan.
They want evidence gathered before Cassandra washes it away.
Let me see that. Why don't you finish up here and I'll take care of this.
As the storm begins, Jarod rushes back to check on Simone and gets the surprise of his life.
Her parents threw themselves on their daughter. They died trying to save her life. What's the good news?
That is the good news.
Ms. Parker escorts Jarod to the car and starts driving to the boathouse.
It's less than a mile. If we move fast, we'll beat the eye.
Honey, I'm home.
At the center, Sydney and Mr. Parker watch news reports of Hurricane Cassandra together and become concerned for Miss Parker's safety.
Mrs. Parker, God rest her soul, was manic depressive.
Exactly what did she say about that?
At the boathouse, Ephraim ties up both Ms. Parker and Jarod and plans his next step.
As soon as the storm is out of my face, we're taking a little boat ride out to the swamp.
At the center, Mr. Raines confronts Sydney, who is following the news closely.
Weather service says the island just past the island. We could.
At the boathouse, Miss Parker attacks Ephraim, but he soon overpowers her.
It's going to redefine heartburn unless you drop it.
After Jarod leaves, triggered by the sound of the storm, Ms. Parker remembers the horrific night from her childhood vividly.
Mama, it's okay, sweetheart. Mama's all right.
Desperate to catch Jarod, Ms. Parker comes up with a plan.
So, when do I get that sweet reward? Oh.
Jarod returns to the house and rushes to give Simone the injection.
This'll hurt just a little bit. It's gonna make you feel a whole lot better.
Jarod hears the sound of a helicopter arriving and comes up with a plan.
Ready? Papa. They can see you now.
Ms. Parker returns to the center and, to the delight of her father, stands up for herself.
We have our deal, but it's not quite status quo. No more lie detectors. No more game.
Later, Ms. Parker receives the package Jarod had sent her and becomes emotional.
Did you get the ring?
Yes. Thank you, Jarod.
Then why are you still chasing him, Ms. Parker? Years earlier, while at the center, Jarod sees another boy and becomes fascinated. In the present day, now a marshal, Jarod joins his colleagues in the transfer of a key witness in a narcotic case. At the center, Ms. Parker discreetly approaches Brutes.
Get some photos. Nobody can see this.
On the plane, Jarod learns more about a missing witness.
Marshal Cody here? Never happened. All the marshals in D.C. were laughing about it. Heard about it during my holdover.
Later, at the U.S. Marshal's office in Oklahoma, Jarod tries to get to know his colleagues.
We don't get him back, the government's case goes south and these drug runners walk.
The marshals head to Eugene's house to speak to his wife.
He's out there alone, scared, without a friend. You got your people camped out in my front yard. You got my phone lines tapped.
Jarod returns home and watches a DSA from 1968. Jarod heads to the office, hoping they can convince Eugene to do the right thing.
It's lonely out there.
What the hell do you know about it?
You can't trust anybody. Nobody's telling you the truth.
The marshals head to Texas, and Jarod approaches Eugene.
He's unarmed!
We're moving to you, Jarod.
There goes your perfect record.
At the center, Brutes updates Ms. Parker about the status of their secret project. That evening, hoping to convince her to help, Jarod goes to speak to Helen.
They opened fire on your husband today. Help me, so I can help Eugene.
In Oklahoma, the agents continue scrambling to find Eugene to no avail. Years earlier at the center, Jarod is caught searching for the boy and brought back to his room.
I'd not have anybody to talk to. If I had a friend.
In the present, Jarod watches Jimmy's confession tape and is surprised by what he sees.
You gotta promise me Jane's gonna be okay. He didn't know anything.
Jarod then goes to speak to Karen about the case.
I got a copy of Jimmy Rayford's confession. Jimmy Rayford asked for a tougher sentence from the U.S. attorney.
You're right. It just doesn't make sense. Jarod returns home, watches a video, and studies Bob's account of what happened closely. Then, hoping to verify this, Jarod spends the next few hours doing some simulations. Then, Jarod visits Helen and convinces her to call Eugene.
But I can't trust these people anymore.
Eugene, they might already know.
You didn't tell them about me calling you.
I'm sorry, honey.
Meanwhile, Jarod and Helen track Eugene down at the motel.
Well, there's somebody that really needs you.
The next morning, Jarod escorts the Diggs home. Later, Jarod, who had tapped Bob's phone, listens in on a shocking phone call.
Taken care of by now, but it will be in $1 million pieces when it does.
Whatever you say.
Meanwhile, Brute successfully identifies one of the children named Dara, along with her location, and gives it to Miss Parker, who rushes to see her.
And you had no further contact with my mother?
No. Oh, Dara had it when your mother brought her to us.
In Oklahoma, while Jarod compiles all the evidence and hatches a plan, he receives an alarming phone call.
There is no way that Eugene is getting on that plane.
No, but Garrison and Lane just took him.
Luckily, Jarod manages to get on the plane before it takes off and proceeds with his new plan.
Get in your piece, boy!
Grab the parachute.
Here.
As they say, there's no honor among thieves. Elsewhere, Ms. Parker receives a call from a distressed Brutes.
They died of sudden, unexplained illnesses, all within the last 6 months.
Later, Jarod watches a DSA from 1968. One morning, Jarod receives a picture of a man and an email with directions to go to New Orleans and see him so that he can learn more about his past. Jarod goes to New Orleans, gets a hotel, and as he heads to his room, he hears a cry of help coming from the room next to his. Hoping to help, Jarod enters the room, finds a man barely hanging on to life, but despite his best efforts to resuscitate him, the man succumbs to his injuries and dies. Jarod then notices that the man had numerous guns, becomes suspicious, and as he searches his wallet, he finds multiple IDs under different names, along with gruesome pictures of dead people. Then, before he can decide what to do, the phone rings, and he reluctantly answers.
Downstairs. We gonna do this hit?
At the center, Sydney receives an email from Jarod. In New Orleans, Donnie takes Jarod to meet his boss, Tug.
You're gonna have to forgive my nephew. He's young. He's just full of devil. This old boy's name is Benjamin Worth. His address is on the back.
Sydney and Ms. Parker arrive at the convention in Minneapolis, where Ms. Parker receives a distressing call from Brutes.
I've been trying to reach you.
Brutes, calm down.
It's just a matter of time before he comes down here and he's snooping around.
In New Orleans, Jarod locates the house from the picture and heads there.
Are you from the real estate company? Sonny Hebert. I haven't seen him in nearly 25 years.
In Minneapolis, while enjoying the convention, Sydney is approached by twin sisters Millie and Tilly.
We could never forget you, Dr. Jacob.
In New Orleans, Jarod designs the perfect plan to fake Benjamin's death and goes to his house with Donnie.
This is not some field trip. Is that clear?
Jarod enters the house, heads to the bedroom, and soon gunshots are heard.
What the hell are you doing up here?
I want to see the body.
Are you kidding me?
What do you think?
At the convention in Minneapolis, Sydney tells the sisters about Jacob.
When did the accident occur?
August 2nd, 67.
In New Orleans, Jarod buries the body and, together with Donnie, goes to see Tug.
Here's our next target. This time I want it seen with real eyes.
The next morning, Jarod visits Benjamin and questions him.
Why does Tug Boulay want you dead?
Now that's the $64,000 question. Business conflicts.
Then, hoping to find any information he can, Jarod goes to Sonny's old office.
Mr. Hebert had here that would help me find my parents.
Oh, there's a weird-looking one with an oxygen tank.
Jarod then meets with Sonny's old secretary and asks her for some information.
I believe they might have hired Mr. Hebert to find me.
Police say it was an accident. Fell asleep smoking.
In Minneapolis, the twins meet with Sidney the next morning and tell him what they know.
The last time we saw Dr. Jacob was on the Monday before. And the first time we'd ever seen a gun.
In New Orleans, unbeknownst to Jarod, Donnie follows him as he goes to visit Doris, becomes suspicious, visits Benjamin's grave, and is furious to find it empty.
Where's Ben Worth's body?
I saw you go to her house and you never came out.
You've been a busy boy. I moved him just in case Hotshot here started mouthing off.
Jarod makes the necessary arrangements and meets with Tug and Donnie.
Cops think she killed herself. Depressed about the disappearance of her husband.
Big mistake.
I can't hear you.
I did it!
Jarod then goes to the hospital to visit Sonny.
Do you remember her name?
Wanted to find little boy.
Mr. Hebert, do you remember her name?
Later, Jarod calls Sidney to thank him. One evening, Ms. Parker and her team spot Jarod and chase him around the city until he jumps into a dumpster to hide. Jarod stays there quietly until the sweepers leave, and just as he proceeds to leave, he is shocked out of his mind to find a baby abandoned inside. Terrified and worried for the baby, Jarod takes it with him.
He's hungry.
How can you tell?
Because I'm hungry.
At the center, Sidney, Brutes, and Ms. Parker try to understand what they discovered during their search for Jarod. Meanwhile, Jarod tries to comfort the baby and looks after him. Then, hoping to get some insights, Jarod calls Sidney.
Is that a lead to your parents?
You'll figure it out.
Is this about your parents?
The next morning, Christine goes to check on Jarod.
I've been monitoring every police channel, every television station, every newspaper.
At the center, Sidney, Ms. Parker, and Brutes meet to discuss how to move forward.
When my brother regained consciousness, he wrote this to me. I'm asking for your help, Brute.
On the other side of the center, Mr. Raines is called to see Angelo, who is acting out.
Angelo?
Elsewhere, while out with Christine and the baby, Jarod realizes something disturbing.
The man who dumped this baby had the exact same decal on the back of his skull.
At the center, the trio continues their search for the meaning of SL-27. Jarod starts investigating to find out the driver of the car and tracks it to a detective named David, who works for District Attorney Mitch. Later, while hanging out with Christine's husband, Axe, Jarod gets a hit.
Reported missing by her next-door neighbor, along with her 5-month-old son.
At the center, the trio locates SL-27 and cautiously heads inside. Elsewhere, David goes to Jeanette's apartment to look for her.
It's not like Jeanette to disappear. Oh, that new baby.
At the center, the trio continues their exploration of the mysterious SL-27.
Whatever it was, it must have been one hell of a fire that stopped it.
I wish I was there right now.
I didn't see that coming. Meanwhile, Jarod arrives at the hospital ahead of David, poses as a doctor, and rushes to Jeanette's room.
He took my baby.
I have your baby.
The duo then runs as fast as they can and manages to escape from the hospital.
He told me that Mitch wanted to see me because he wanted to help us.
Now can we go to the police?
No.
How can you even suggest that, Christine? Jarod and his new friends quickly get to work to expose the men who had wronged the young mother.
I know what it takes to build a successful family.
Jarod then proceeds to leave the city. At the center, Sidney and Ms. Parker return to SL-27 and are gutted to find it empty. At a correctional facility, prison guards prepare to transport a prisoner and head to his cell.
Houdini couldn't get out of these.
Tighten.
Elsewhere, while working, Jarod hears a disturbing news report and rushes home. At home, Jarod watches a DSA from 1968.
Henry, now!
No! I'm sorry! I would never hurt you!
Posing as a special agent, Jarod goes to the prison and visits Kyle's cell.
He told me he was an IRS investigator, so I let him do my taxes.
At the center, Ms. Parker and her team prepare for a new experiment to find Jarod.
Well then, let's see what the potato head can do.
Elsewhere, a woman named Harriet receives a shocking phone call, drops everything, and disappears. Soon, agents swarm her house to search for clues to find her.
Friend called to warn Harriet Tashman about the escaped John Doe.
At the center, during the experiment, Angelo suddenly becomes violent and attacks Ms. Parker.
Sam, help! Let go, Angelo, let go!
What the hell was that?
At the FBI office in New York, hoping to understand the case better, Jarod watches a news report of Harriet's attempted kidnapping from a decade ago and gets the shock of his life. At the center, still shaken up by the incident, Ms. Parker goes to her father's office to speak to him.
Never doubted Rain's dedication, but he's been different.
Jarod locates Harriet's farm, which he soon realizes is the place he had seen in the pictures from Kyle's cell, and tries to learn as much as he can about it.
When I was little, Miss Harriet, she taught me how to read good. They left right after Miss Harriet got took.
Jarod rushes to the office and gets a horrifying update on the case.
All the more reason for us to find him before he finds Harriet Tashman.
At the center, Ms. Parker learns about the owner of the blue notebook. The trio then goes to SL-27 and is horrified by what they find.
Where are you? Down here, down the hall.
I had a computer like this in my early years with Jarod.
That's harsh even for you, Ms. Parker. Elsewhere, Jarod watches a DSA from 1968.
Me neither. I don't remember here.
The next morning, Brutes reports his findings to Sydney and Ms. Parker.
Who are you to make that judgment?
I decide who lives.
Elsewhere, Jarod continues watching the DSA from 1968.
They take me down an elevator. I'm not sure where.
Later, Sydney confronts Mr. Raines.
If I were you, I'd stop dwelling on the past.
If Kyle is alive, I'll find him.
At the center, Angelo suddenly walks up on Brutes, who's watching the news, and scares him. Then, Brutes finds a shocking DSA and proceeds to share it with Sydney.
I just don't think you should watch this disc.
Elsewhere, Jarod heads to a convent, and just as he gets there, he sees Kyle abducting Harriet in broad daylight and driving off with her. At the center, Ms. Parker reluctantly goes to her father's office and speaks to him about what she found out.
I'd hope that it would be enough I were your daughter.
But I have people to answer to. I need tangibles.
In 1968, at the center, Jarod and Kyle try to communicate discreetly.
Where are you? 4. I'm right next to you.
In the present day, Jarod calls Sydney and questions him.
Kyle is out there. Was he sent to kill my parents?
Jarod then hatches a plan, sets it in motion, and is delighted to prove its success the next day.
John Doe tried to pry open an ATM machine in Boston.
With the agents chasing ghosts, Jarod talks to Sydney and prepares to proceed on his own.
You have to know he's not the person you once knew.
Jarod arrives at the Dragon House in New Jersey and finds a tied-up Harriet being interrogated for information.
We're gonna find out. The anticipation of pain is far more effective than pain itself.
I love a class reunion.
Jarod and Harriet escape and speed away.
I stopped you because Kyle is your brother.
What? Meanwhile, Kyle is taken back to the center and tortured.
I decide who lives or dies. I decide who lives or dies.
Later, Ms. Parker meets with Sydney and Brutes discreetly.
What makes you so certain that Kyle can help you?
The trio works together to pull off their plan, and Ms. Parker finds her way to Kyle's cell.
You look just like her.
You're the one who decides who lives or dies, right?
At the farmhouse, Jarod and Harriet discuss how to proceed.
And right now, the biggest clue to it is back where I started. Going to get my brother.
Jarod then breaks into the center and approaches Sydney.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know.
You will notify me if Jarod attempts to make contact.
Then, Jarod heads to Kyle's room and finds a pleasant surprise.
Angelo, you wrote those letters to Kyle in prison.
Meanwhile, Kyle is dragged to the other side of the center. Luckily, Jarod and Angelo get there in time and proceed to rescue Kyle.
I decide who lives or dies.
Angelo!
As the security alarm blares, chaos ensues in the center. Jarod and Kyle make it out and flee the area while Ms. Parker tries to analyze what transpired.
Just bring me back what belongs to the center. I did not authorize this procedure.
Outside, Jarod and Kyle drive to the farmhouse while catching up.
They're still out there, aren't they?
Yes, we're going to find them. We wouldn't have gotten this far unless we were meant to.
Then, Harriet arrives at the farmhouse, but before she can update the brothers, the FBI, tipped off by Mr. Raines, arrives and forces the trio to drive away in a van. Moments later, a car chase ensues, and the agents manage to blow out the van's tires, causing it to roll into the ravine.
Kyle!
Hold still, let me look.
No, go!
Jarod and Harriet run out, and a few minutes later, a shootout ensues between Kyle and the agents. Soon, to the sheer heartbreak of Jarod, with Kyle still inside, the van explodes and goes up in flames. Ugh! Kyle just never got a break. Later, at the center, Ms. Parker discreetly eavesdrops as Mr. Raines and her father discuss what happened.
I think we should focus on bringing Jarod in. We have a possible location.
Jarod arrives in Boston and heads to the meeting place. Unbeknownst to Jarod, Ms. Parker and her team, Mr. Raines, and the sweepers all separately arrive and surveil him. A few minutes later, Margaret and Emily arrive by a cab, and as soon as Margaret gets off, Jarod sees her from a distance and becomes overwhelmed by emotions buried for decades. However, before Jarod can approach his family and embrace them, he notices that he's surrounded, becomes alarmed, and with a broken heart asks his mother to return to the cab and drive off. Relieved that his family is out of harm's way, Jarod tries to flee the area but runs into Mr. Raines.
You stole me from my parents. Now you're trying to kill my family. What have I ever done to you?
Then, as Jarod walks away, Mr. Raines attempts to shoot him, but fails miserably as his oxygen tank is soon hit, setting him on fire. In the aftermath of the chaotic mission, Ms. Parker visits her father at his office.
Difficult for a man like Raines to end up in hospital. One day you'll understand why
Did he kill her?
Later, Brutes updates Ms. Parker and Sydney about his strange discovery.
Well, the bullet that struck the oxygen tank. They can't tell which gun it was fired from.